Hello and welcome, here we are again, and sorry, let me just get comfy. Today I thought we'd try the faces again, although we've got a twist this time. I figured out how to turn the black and white painting of a face, which is very fun to sculpt on and focuses a lot on the three-dimensional and lighting qualities. But I feel like, it's nice to be able to have the different complexions, so I figured out how to do that, and I think people will probably enjoy it a little bit more when they can actually, paint in colour. The colour's always nice, right? Rather than just black and white. Even a colour statue, if I had, different lighting, might be a bit more interesting. But I suppose using these levels, and I'll show you how to do that now. Actually, I might as well, just for anyone who needs to know. And point them in this direction, I suppose. Yeah, let me just duplicate this one, and I'll show you. Right. You want filter, and it's kind of good that it has this in it actually, curves, because it's quite advanced. But yeah, with curves you can do almost anything. It's really, you see, I can even get it to look, that looks metallic now. So you can get any material you want, and if you're on any of these art jams, then I don't mind if you paint a metallic portrait or whatever you want to do, honestly. But yeah, and I'll show you, you can change the skin colours. So you have got to kind of use, you can do it randomly and just happen upon skin colours, or you can kind of try and, it's hard to explain, but if you do have a good grasp of colour theory, you can intentionally get, the sort of skin tones that you want. But you can see here, you can get whatever skin tone, and I can even make it so it's actually like a paler skin tone but with really harsh blue light coming down on it, or really harsh green. You can do anything. So wow, look at that. So yeah, I really encourage having a go at just trying some of these different, look at that, it's strange, isn't it? Trying whatever skin colour you like, basically. Just start with the black and white one, and then just play with those levels, and you can get whatever complexion. You can even get green and do like an elf or something like that. Like I say, you can, in the rules of these art jams, you can do whatever face you want. So yeah, we're gonna do this one today, and this is really like a perfect kind of lesson type thing, I feel, or demo. Because it really shows the sculptorly side of painting. So, and that I really, to be honest, the reason I chose this today is because it's really kind of it's just fun and doesn't take that much. It's very low, low demand. It's quite relaxing. It's quite a therapeutic challenge, this one, and yeah, you can learn from it. So you can see I'm just trying to kind of, and I really am thinking of sculpting here. I'm thinking about if I pushed, if I had a big clay statue, I'd be pushing with my thumbs like that to push out these eye sockets. That'd probably be the first thing I did if I had like a piece of clay in front of me. That's really what this challenge is about. I'm just going to use the smoother, and this is like dipping your hand in water and then just smoothing it over with your hands. So yeah, I really do mean sculpting a face, like almost quite literally. When I paint like this, I try to imagine that I'm actually using Blender or like, ZBrush, or whatever the software is nowadays that does digital sculpting. But I like to pretend this is digital sculpting, except I can't rotate the camera, or or the prop, or whatever, however you view it. And instead of having literal sculpting tools, I just have to kind of translate the sculpting using a brush, but following the same rules that kind of you would have if you were to sculpt some on Blender. I'd like to, and I think I did a video. Yeah, I did indeed do a video about this exact what are these called? Exact templates. This exact worksheet And I did try to show a little bit of side by side with Blender's sculpting as I painted to kind of illustrate that. So yeah, go and check that out if you want to see what I mean. There's like a little graphic I use where it paints on a ball. But I'd love to do something where I actually genuinely follow along, where maybe I paint a face in this fashion and then I go in and try and do the exact same steps and get the exact same likeness, but in Blender. And you know, I don't know if there's a way to show that as an animation from just one viewpoint, but that'd be quite interesting, I think. To show how literal the I feel like this isn't quite saturated as I want it to be. Oh my god, painting with the wrong brush. Yeah, I want a bit more red in his eyes, or a bit more purple maybe. Just thinking about this, trying to do a bit of a soft shadow for the nose. Nose is a bit too detailed, I feel like, compared to the rest of it. I'm just trying to get something of an anchor. I think of doing this line here even as like a crease tool, if anyone's ever done any sculpting. You know, I'm just making like a little crease in there. The only time it kind of breaks is when you are just painting purely to get the accuracy of the lighting. Right there, trying to correct the side of the nose, because I'd already made the bridge of the nose here, and that was the start of it. Hey, we got someone joining us. Wait to see what kind of yeah, because last time we did this it wasn't too popular, and the video wasn't either, and I feel like that might be because it was just in black and white. I feel like people want colour, so we'll give them colour. Let's see how it goes. Take two. And I really do enjoy using this template and kind of sculpting a face like this. There really is something therapeutic about it. It's quite fun and quite efficient. Ah, that person didn't end up staying, oh well. So I really do want to do a couple of these, even if people don't end up joining. It's nice. I feel like it might have a place as well, concept art wise. When we need to design the likeness for a character, I think this might be a good way to kind of get a couple likenesses together and see which one we want to go with. To be fair, it might be that this kind of scares people off, I don't know, because it is quite heavy painting. What is it? Heavily paint based. This is. I know a lot of people on this website. They're not so much as painters as much as drawers. There we go. We got someone else here. That's what I kind of like about some of these templates, though. Is I feel like, not that not painting is a bad thing, but I like the idea that I can encourage people to kind of try something new, you know, in painting. And something like this, you know, you kind of have to paint on it, right? Wow, they're having a good go already. Also, I forgot to do just a bit of admin work here. Let me just drop a comment. I'm just going to drop it near my own piece. I already have something pre-written for it. It just lets people find... people find the stream and the channel. So yeah, I'm just going to post that as a comment. I noticed the YouTube one isn't clickable. Let me copy that one again on its own. See if that works. What? It doesn't copy the whole link for some reason. Yeah, that's strange. Twitch one works, but the YouTube one doesn't. Isn't that strange? Oh well. Can't, people can still find it from there, I think. Let me just get a link. I can get a link real quick. Oh, I went to the wrong. Also, I realised I didn't set the title. Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up on admin here. 1 second. Should have done all this before. There you go. That's clickable now. Wow, there's some really good attempts already. Jesus, I don't know why they just painted it, why they just whited it out. But that was looking like a good attempt so far. Okay, that comment's kind of just gonna hover up there. I'm gonna try and move it down here. I don't think it wants to cover any of the work, the way those comments are programmed. All right, we're gonna continue. We're gonna give this. I'm doing a female, but I might do a male next time. This it's kind of already, you know, the neck and the shoulders is already kind of more feminine, but there's no reason why you can't use these blanks and make something masculine instead. Alright then. Like I say, we're putting a muzzle in here. It's just a little bit of a bulge around the mouth, I suppose. Just to show the tooth column. And then I'm going to try and... I don't know if it's a bit early for this. The chin and the shape of the face are going to need to change a lot because it's still egg shaped. Because this form, I might change it actually. But I'm going to do a few different forms, I think. Just so people have got even more variety. I want to start making these challenge canvases that we make so that we've just got loads of variety on them. But this is a bit egg shaped, so as you paint, if you want to get something with good proportions, actually I think this one can be a little bit harmful. Might not help newer users that the head itself is so egg shaped because it might deform. You really have to make sure to do a lot of silhouette work to get rid of that egg shape. And like you can see, the chin is not going to be a perfect shape straight up. And you might need to change where the chin is, and now you actually do need to do some repainting to move the chin up. So you do have to do some heavy sculpting to... I'd like to make it a bit lighter, a bit closer to what a typical head shape would be, so people don't have to do quite as much sculpting. But you can see how easily I did move the chin up there. I literally just copied two of the colours and just move that brighter line up. You can see it's a bit closer to a face shape now. It's still a bit potato-y, but it's getting there. I'm going to continue the lips, and I've just realised I've done them a little bit too low. So, and I did them low, I think, because the chin was originally a little bit low, so it got me in the low mindset. And the lips are really kind of just symbolic right now because it's way too early to actually be painting details. It's a little bit below the lips as well, always quite dark there, and then it goes back to being a little bit bright on the chin. And I'm going to dig the chin out of the shadow just a bit too. So you see, it really is like we're sculpting, like actually using almost a piece of sculpting software. Especially when you start using tools like the, I don't need to use it right now, but this kind of drag tool, because you actually have a tool that does exactly this in, wow, that looks quite interesting. You actually do have a tool that does exactly that in Blender and just kind of pushes the 3D model around. It's very close to 3D modeling painting on this sort of basis. I feel like you can come up with so many unique likenesses and stuff from Imagination. I'd like to, I haven't tried painting using this base from reference yet, but I'd like to give that a go too. See if you could kind of steal people's likeness. You know what I mean? It'd be kind of like 3D modeling someone, but in Paint. It might be actually even better practice for beginners, that. Especially if you can get reference images that are in this same kind of lighting and direction. Maybe I could tailor. I could get example pictures and then kind of tailor the base to them. To that. Sorry. See, I'm going to pull the neck in just a little bit here too. And another bit of reversing the sort of egg-headedness that we start with. And right back here as well. I think that's a bit more human shaped now. The eyes, you can just think you can just do the eyes covered in skin for now, as strange as that sounds. And then you kind of cut into that to reveal the eye underneath. It's kind of like that's almost like, instead of being digital sculpting, that's like when you see people do polymer sculpting and make little tiny like statuettes of characters and stuff. You'll see that to do the eyes, they'll push like a plastic eye in, and then they'll coat it in like a thin layer of skin, and then sometimes they'll coat the whole eye like that, and then use like a scalpel knife to cut out the window in the eye. It's almost exactly like that technique, and I love this idea of kind of mirroring other techniques, more sculpting like techniques in Paint. Very efficient too, because you start with the base, right? But everyone ends up with something unique still. This is looking really cool down here. Damn. This one's looking great too. I don't think they even have pressure on the brush. But that is a great attempt, considering. Jesus. People, I love how much how much talent there is on here. Like, people really do get. You know what I mean? Sometimes I feel like I'm patronising people with what I'm saying, because everyone's just already, you know, they really get it on here. There's some talent. Shows what I think it shows what, you know, being able to go and learn about how to paint on the internet does, because it's where I learn most of my skills, and you can learn such a surprising amount from other artists for free. I'm going to take the overexposedness off the forehead just a tiny bit there. Maybe not that much. Yeah, something like that. Let's do the darker part of the bottom of the eyelids. See what I'm saying? Just kind of doing it as like a little bit like lumps. I'm going to define the eyebrows a little bit more as well here. So they're too soft. We need like an actual proper eyebrow ridge. We need a bit of a keystone shape above the nose here too. Maybe not that dark. Let's grab something like that value off the cheek. And keep it saturated. The only thing is, when we paint like this, and I could change it, but it would be a little bit less efficient, I suppose. Because you're colour picking so often, and that's why I put this ball here too, in case people want to colour pick off here instead. If you colour pick from somewhere and then glaze it onto somewhere else to try and, you know, translate the value, the best thing you can do when you do that, you're losing saturation. So this isn't quite as saturated as it should be now, because we've used glazing. The best thing you can do is pick an actual area that is exactly that value that you're looking for, and then instead of glazing, painting it as directly onto the canvas as possible, and then you keep a lot of the saturation. But that's not always ideal either, so you do end up, and it's not always very easy to find the exact value you need on the canvas, and you'll still lose saturation then, because you'll still be glazing a little bit. So the proper way that you should do things is to pick a colour every single time, and then And you can actually set your brush to do this, to not be able to glaze. I would recommend trying to paint like that for a little bit. It might, maybe I'll give it a go there actually, because that could be an excellent way to hone colour picking skills. I wouldn't recommend doing it on Magma though, because this software has such a tiny colour palette that you'll just struggle. Because of the software, it won't even be your fault. I'm really waiting for them to put a much bigger colour palette on this software. But yeah, maybe try that in Krita. That'd be a really cool exercise actually for beginners, I think. Not being able to glaze, because glazing is a big technique, but it does have its pros and its cons. And the cons are that it saps your saturation. You can see I'm using it here. I don't really mind as much here because it's more of just a sculpting exercise. But really, if I really, you know, was on the ball with it today, what I'd be doing is I'd be trying to make the cheeks. You can't see my colour picker, but I'd be making the cheeks just a little more, you know, rosy. Wrong brush. A little more rosy, you know, and stuff like that, basically. And also, you know, just adding a basic level of colour abstraction just to make it more interesting. You know, cold areas just in random places and stuff like that. Cold and warm areas, kind of the dance between each other. Colour notes, people also call it. Damn, this is looking cool. It's like Chad. That's sick. I love that. I love seeing everyone's interpretation of this. This one's looking sick as well. Yeah, hopefully we get a few more people joining. Hopefully we get enough people joining that I can have to make new versions. I don't know why it breaks like that sometimes. I think this is a lot for the servers to handle. I think when you zoom in it fixes it as well, yeah. But I really think these kind of multi-board challenge exercise shoes just game changer for this. And I really want to just pump out loads of these and make it so anybody can use them in their own art jams and stuff like that. Just make it basically public domain. So I think it can be a big force in helping people learn to really master digital tools. You know, really get the hang of painting. And like I say, I like encouraging people to try new things in the arts. And painting is really the main one of those for me. A lot of people don't even kind of consider that painting is a possibility. Let's kind of bring that side of digital art over here on Laugh Arts. The farts. Right, yeah, I like what I just did with the nose there. Just you can see there's sort of a border going like that, and it's very sharp. Kind of pushed it forwards with the shading. I'm just gonna try and make it a little bit darker right here on the bridge. It's not working. It's very delicate, this area is, how you shade it. It's quite important. You can see it's still, because we painted it with clay in mind and thinking about sculpting it in clay, it has ended up looking like clay, right? That does kind of look like sort of a half done, a half finished clay sculpture, right? I love that. Just love the idea in general. Definitely want to do a few more of these sort of sculpted models, but I don't think you'll ever be able to top a portrait for it. It's just the best example. I don't even know what else I could do, you know, that people would want to kind of start with a base on and sculpt, other than portrait, right? I could do something where it's like a very boxy car, and people can kind of sculpt you know, sculpt the facets into it and make it more organic looking, and kind of turn a big, basically like a box that represents a car into like a Ferrari or something. That could be interesting. I don't know how interested people are in drawing cars anymore. We used to love drawing cars when I was in school. Trying to do some, so the light's kind of coming in from this direction. I'm just thinking, remember the muzzle that we was painting earlier? It's kind of going to be hitting this part of the lip. And I notice, just from painting, that there's often like a brighter line right on the top of the lip. So I'm going to have that catch more light. I've done it too much though. And then right here on the corner of the mouth, there's like a little spoon shape, if that makes sense. A little inverted shape, so the bottom of that can catch a bit of light. Of course the bottom lip too. But we haven't really done the bottom lip because it's such a different, we haven't done like the pinkness of the lips yet. The redness, I don't know what to call it. Just going to smooth the side of the head a bit more. And again, I really am thinking, you know, I'm just imagining dipping my hand in water and smoothing the side of the head, and then thinking, you know, what would I do next? And get the eyes to a bit of a nicer shape. A bit more specific, you know. I don't know whether it's going to be like a lot of highlight here actually. And it's really starting to come together. I think we're just going to try and do just this one portrait as well for the stream. I've been thinking about the streams lately, and I think it's probably better, and I don't know, sometimes I think maybe it's more entertaining if I'm painting, you know, more smaller paintings and people get to see, you know, more things being painted, even if they're not as high quality. But I think lately I have been kind of enjoying more the and enjoying the results more of the streams where we paint just one thing and spend longer on it, because getting a really nice high quality painting is always you know, it's just always nicer and more rewarding, right? And that just takes more time. I feel like if I'm always spending, you know, 1 hour, half an hour on every painting, then it's just like we do a whole lot of nothing, you know. I guess we get a lot of starting things, but it's not like we're always gonna get too much time to finish all of these things, so I think we'll be a bit more productive if we make sure to get things to a bit more of a finished state on the stream, and of course that just naturally takes more time. This guy's finished. Looks pretty cool there. Kind of like a Giga Chad. Yeah, that's pretty nice. This person's still going as well. It's looking pretty cool actually. And like a bit of a guy show looking at the lipstick pattern. And the eyebrows. Not sure what the plan is with the blurry hair at the moment. Can't wait to see how what the technique is there. Yeah, it's really cool. The eyes are rendered very nicely so far as well. I'm gonna make underneath the nose here just a little bit darker. We're actually gonna put some nostrils in even. I'm not liking the placement of the other one. I think it should be a bit more like that. It's quite tough to place the nostril on the other side of the nose. On the far side. Always is. Right, let's add some redness to the lips as soon as we was talking about that a moment ago. I think this might be a bit too orange. I'm going to go for more cherry red. Just share some of it with the top as well. Not liking the look of that, not going to lie. I think it's still too orange maybe. It needs to be almost a purple. They need really cold colouring on their lips. Yeah, that's much better. And I think even more purple. I'll add a layer of even more purple on the darker areas. Nice. And we haven't even really worked in much contrast into this image yet. You know, that's probably the darkest. Yeah, that's the darkest thing in the image now. And I'm actually going to brighten this line up a little bit, so that it's not so much darker than everything else yet. You got to kind of hold your horses in painting when it comes to the contrast sometimes. Or I don't know, I have an internal argument with myself about it all the time. Should you go straight into the high contrast, or should you try and hold off and wait and keep everything at the same level? I'm gonna do a bit of the eyes. It's tough to you really have to get some kind of map that works for you. I feel like eyes are tricky, of course they're tricky. The secret is that, you know, you can panel beat them into shape, and just like you can do anything, you don't have to get it right from the start when you paint organically like this. But it's bad to use symbolism, but I feel like with the eyes, sometimes it can work out, as long as you keep it in 3D. And it still is logical. So this is the dark line that represents the bottom of the eyelid, or that will become the bottom of the eyelid. This is a bright line for the top of the, you know, the slice, the thickness of the eyelid. That's what those two lines are. It's just basic embossing. But then the symbolism comes with the pupil outlining as well. And like I say, it still needs to be very much in 3D. And I'm imagining myself using the X-Acto knife and cutting, you know, cutting that shape out and then peeling it. Peeling it away. So that you can see. You know what I mean? Cutting down to like the plastic eye that we would have pushed in earlier. I'm gonna paint this eyelid in these pupils, sorry, or whatever they're called, with just a basic dark value that I've just grabbed from anywhere. So yeah, we start to get this kind of bold face. Maybe give them some nice blue eyes, actually. Should we give them some hair and some eyebrows now? Yeah, let's give them some hair and some eyebrows. I think we're at that point. Ready for everything to get 10 times more complicated. What kind of hair would suit her? Should we give her a fringe? Or a bob? See, that's why I'm not very good at hair. It's not because I struggle to render the hair, but it's because I'm just not a very good hairstylist. And I think that is the secret of why hair is so difficult, actually. or at least that's the main difficulty for me. Even when I couldn't really render hair either, the difficult part of it is knowing you basically got to be like a barber, haven't you, and know what hairstyles exist and what sort of hairstyle will suit the character and how it's going to look when you style the hair in a certain way. You've got to do a lot of different jobs that exist in real life when you paint, I feel like. Give her like a ponytail, maybe. Yeah, I think a ponytail will make sense. And here's the secret. Everyone always says, you know, it's a pretty well-known secret, but you don't paint the strands. Just paint it as a big block of colour. Because she's brunette, it's going to be quite dark colour that we start with. And that'll give you the main importance of that is so that you can zoom out and see what the hair's going to look like composition wise. You can sculpt it to look right, you know what I mean, like by right, you know, it doesn't look off. You can sculpt it to look, you know, just right, and to check out from from a better vantage point then. Is to start from just a bit lower down. Ooh. And then we'll do the smaller hair strands later that stick out from it, of course. And this is a very common technique as well, just using like a groupings of hairs, painting them first and slowly subdividing them. Subdivision is a big, maybe we should make a video about subdivision specifically or something like that, but it's a big topic, subdivision is. I think people often talk about it, but they don't explicitly know what they're talking about, and they don't explicitly say that that's what they're talking about. Or just the word doesn't get used enough in art, I don't feel like. Detail management as well. It's just a slept-on category in general in the visual arts. But detail management's important, you know. Right, let's give her some eyebrows as well. And yeah, subdivision is one of the main techniques for digital management. I'm going to draw a symbol representing the eyebrow, the outside of it first. Actually, a guide. Here we go, yeah. I don't know if I really want that style. Something more like that, something a bit thinner. Second one's not doing very well. Excuse me. I think it's just that they're a bit too high detailed, aren't they? I'm gonna blur them a little bit to make them match the rest of the level that we're at. Yeah, I chose way too small of a brush and too high detail and contrast there. So I mean, you gotta kind of keep everything at the same level. If you do that, you make the mistake of getting a little bit tunnel visioned and painting something too detailed for the point that you're at. You can always just blur it out, reverse it, glaze a value over it, just make it look simpler again and less concentrated, not concentrated, less what's the word? I'm always using it. Contrasty, less contrasting. Whoa, what's going on down here? Looks nice in 3D now. They even started to, you can see they've started to paint like the ghost of some clothes in. It's going to be like some fancy shoulders, something like that. Shape the face even more and get it close to what it's going to finish as. I think her thirds are just slightly uneven. Yeah, I think the nose is a tiny bit low. I bet you what would make it a little bit more proportional would be to drag upwards like this. See what I mean? Like she's got just a bit of a long face. That's close. That's really close. I think that's it. I think just a little bit in on this eye as well. And I think also thinking about this line, I feel like the nose, this part of the nose should be on that line. I don't know if I'm going to be that drastic because obviously perspective and stuff has an effect on it. And obviously just people's likeness. But I'm going to move it in a tiny bit. And I'm going to do a giant change now, I think, and I'm going to do something like that. Yeah. See, I talk about as well, sometimes my paintings naturally are stretched. The top right corner is naturally stretched a bit like that. When I paint, I naturally stretch the top corner a bit. You can see that kind of exaggerates the look that the face had. Sometimes it's good to kind of reverse that a little bit. But I think here I've done it on a wider level than usually. Usually it's just the top corner, but here it looks like I've done the whole top of the face a bit stretched upwards like that, you see. There you go, those are more the proportions that I sort of had in mind when I started painting. You don't always achieve them straight away when you speed paint in general, but also when you paint like this. Especially when you paint from something that's so biased and kind of egg-shaped. That's how we start out here. People do like the black and white ones, I noticed, so maybe I was wrong, maybe people do like the black and white ones. This one's looking pretty much spot on. They're really thinking about the planes and how the direction of the light and stuff like that. Yeah, it's absolutely spot on. It's how you should be thinking. Really thinking in 3D there, and they are thinking in a kind of a sculpted manner, even if they've gone with more planar sculpting. And this person's just going wild now. Yeah, it looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Like neon or something, like neon hair. I love that. I might actually steal that a little bit. I really like the look of how it has the kind of glow on the outside and the darkness on the inside on that one. Very cool. Oh yeah. And the extra planar one, I think this one's going to turn out great. Just a proper fundamental approach there. Yeah, I'm loving it. Loving seeing how people's interpretation of this turns out. It's awesome. So much talent on here. But yeah, we're gonna keep pushing with this one and trying to up the contrast is what I'm really thinking of at the moment, because when we zoom out you see the face is very, especially now that we've done the hair, which is quite, obviously it's just a big block value at the moment, but it's quite dark, but you can see that it kind of in the eyes, nose and mouth. If I paint the colour black somewhere here, you'll see, you know, just how far we've got to go before, you know, if I make the nostrils actually black like they kind of would be, you know, you can see how crazy that looks. And that's because everything's kind of got a layer of mist over it at the moment, like a layer of smoke. I find sometimes it helps if right here on the nose, you make it a bit brighter where the cheek is. It makes the pinching look a bit more believable. Sometimes you can fix the way glazing makes your saturation lower by when you actually colour pick whatever you're going to glaze somewhere else. You just up the saturation a little bit. That's one thing I should have probably mentioned earlier. It's a good fix for it. We're going to remember just the general pattern of the nose here as much as we can and see if we can encode that here. I think we need to remember the light that's going to be bouncing off the lip that's just underneath it though. Maybe need to shape the tip of the nose just a little bit as well. Thinking about putting light on this nostril here on this side as well. A bit more light on the top. I'm just not certain that we're going to see that much with the perspective, so I'm just trying it out. Everything's trial and error in painting. Literally everything. Just going to wipe that down as well. I think we're getting there with the nose now. Would have been nice if we maybe added a secondary light. It would have lit up the bottom of the nose a bit and shown the shape better. Like I say, we can think of the light that's kind of coming down, bouncing off of a top lip. This area here. It's going to be shining right there onto the nose. And that most of the time is kind of the source of light around the nose. Right, the nostrils a little bit softer there. Oh, that's what we needed. There you go, that's way better. Yeah, I think the nostrils just needed a bit of softening at the bottom. Going to be really high saturation of red inside the nostril and really dark. Darkest part's going to be the top where there's kind of a sharp transition. You see how we went from such simple, I wish we'd said the stages somehow now, but you see we've gone from something that was so simple as we started sculpting it, you know, we was just thinking of pushing in the indentations of the eye sockets so softly. Now we're working on, you know, so much more detail. Although with more detail comes more detail management that's needed. You're always at just a little bit more risk of kind of you're gonna have to trial and error things a little bit more when there's more detail, a little bit more A/B testing, if that makes sense. Paint something on, press Z or Control Z, whatever you got it set as. See if what you did was as good as you was hoping, and you know, do you need to revert it or try something else? or do you keep it? It's a process of selection. Things that you keep, you don't Control Z or you don't paint over, and you end up with all of the brush strokes that you selected. The evolution of your painting. And just a bit more rosy red, but also darkness to the cheek here. It is more of a glazing technique that we use in there, which isn't going to be good for the saturation of the cheek. Yeah, I want to just add a little bit more darkness to her left side of the face, her right side, our left side. It's going to have to be kind of finagled in there. This is so overexposed on the forehead, I feel like. And wipe some of that overexposure off. I think we'll be able to do a little bit more detail. You can see we've really got a nice kind of complexion here now, proper skin tone and lighting, and just came from the black and white image basically. I do wonder if you can sculpt a face in black and white and then decide on the values after and get it looking mostly convincing. I suppose you couldn't have the blue eyes and stuff like that, then it's all going to be treated the same as the trade-off of that. Right then, yeah, we're going to really start to add some more contrast here, especially in the eyes, which is like going to be one of the highest contrast places because it's where the smallest details are. I feel like the light did the light change direction as we've been painting there? It's always been the same direction. That would be unusual because the lighting does get sort of baked in when you paint. We're going to put a bit of a highlight on here. I don't know if it's going to be that bright. Yeah, that's fine, that is. We'll bring a bit of that contrast back to the lips where we erased it earlier because it was a bit too early. It's going to be pretty much the same though. It's more about the way you see your painting. If something's really out of whack with the contrast, you'll not be able, when you zoom out and look at your painting, it'll make it harder to gauge whether you're making the right decisions or not, because there'll be constantly something throwing it all off balance. It makes it hard for you to kind of gauge if you know you're making the right decisions. That's probably the main reason, yeah, why you really want to keep everything the same contrast as you go along and the same level of detail as well. Detail management is done along a time scale, you know. Doesn't necessarily have to be done that way, but I think for speed painting that's the idea normally. It does work. Okay, let's keep going. Just a bit of light here. Find that always looks good. Just that little bit of light at the top of the top outsides of the eye socket. I think we still need to introduce more darkness to the forehead as well. It's going to have to be really smooth, so we'll just do like the lightest touch as the values we want, and then we'll use the smooth brush to kind of work it in. Anything with this smooth brush, I feel like it makes like a weird effect where it's like there's a lighter line for some reason. There's always a lighter line on one side. Trying to use lots of little strokes as well to make it even smoother. Wow, it's just too satisfying painting in this way. Too satisfying. Really does feel like, you know, like I was saying earlier, really does feel like you dip, especially with using the different tools. Like the smooth tool really feels like dipping your fingers in some water and smoothing the clay out, and the paintbrush feels like clay strips or clay sculpting tools, and the liquify one just feels like digital sculpting for sure. That you have like almost the exact same identical tool in digital sculpting. You can just kind of drag the 3D model about. It looks exactly the same as well as you're doing so. Wow, that's perfect, that is. Yeah, perfect use of fundamentals there. I think this might be someone who's possibly not using... It looks like they have it, but with the way their movements are, it looks like they have a digital stylus, but maybe not using a brush. You know, consciously not using a brush that has, what's it called? Brush pressure sensitivity. Which is an interesting choice. But yeah, they're basically doing it perfectly as far as the values and the structure goes. It's perfectly coherent with fundamentals. I'm not sure if they're going to use like a blur brush later and kind of mix it all together. If they did that, it would look pretty much instantly like a really... Especially if they kept the sharp areas just where they should be. I think that would look really nice. It still needs more contrast as we go along. We might add some ear details too. Ears are really easy once you kind of get the hang of them. You just need to remember the right pattern, right diagram. It's kind of this shape and a bit of this shape at the top. This shape kind of wraps around. Yeah, it's close enough. Have the hair cover it just a little bit more over the top like that. Right, let's give the hair a little bit of detail just to kind of catch it up with the rest of everything else. I just realised, is that from me painting on it, or is that it's kind of like something that I left behind, I think. So on the other ones, no, it's not. Yeah, that's something we've done. I was wondering if that was something in the actual template. Yeah, speaking of this kind of blocky approach, I was thinking of doing one of these templates as well, but making it a bit more like an Asaro head type thing, or like a Crichton. You know, the way it's kind of like a planar surface head. Maybe we could do one that's kind of like Riley Ribbons as well. Really like organic. You know, I'd like to be able to do loads of starting points that people can begin with and sort of design their own likeness. Or do one from reference, you know, using the base. This one's turning out really cool. Got it just right with the ear as well. Just like a stamp. Damn. See what they were doing with the hair now. That's awesome, that is. This pattern on the neck looks sick. Looks like a tattoo. Looks awesome, that. I'm gonna put a bit more of a highlight on the cheeks, I think. It's gotta be soft. So I think I'll do a highlight and then soften the edges of the highlight to get the effects that I want, without having to kind of make a new round brush. Is that too much though? Oh, it feels like too much. I don't know. Wait, I wish I could get like a more of an airbrush. I think I probably can. But yeah, I feel like I need an airbrush sometimes. A bit more like that maybe. Really just changing the tiniest parts. I need to work on the hair, like I was saying, actually. Getting distracted. Yeah, the hair's really important at the moment because it's the least worked on bit, and I don't know how long we've been. How long have we going? We've been going 1 hour 10, so we've still possibly got 2 hours to spend on this painting. We could probably get it like pretty much photorealistic in that time. I'm gonna try and spend the whole 2 hours on this, but it might come to a point where there's just like, you know, how much more we can do, and we'll paint another one in that case. Maybe just go and paint on some personal work. Hair's easy enough though to put the strands in. You're thinking about the lighting, of course, still, but the way you're painting the lighting in is in the form of strands. You're thinking about the direction, and the direction again. The toughest part in that is the haircut. You've got to do the job of, when you paint, you've already got to do the job of a cameraman and of a computer. Especially if you're painting from imagination, you're doing the job of a computer that tries to render 3D models. You're doing the job of that, and then you're also doing the job of like a stage director. You know, setting the stage out. And then on top of that, you're doing the job of a hairstylist, a makeup artist, a costume designer, you know? So you've really got to adapt so many different jobs when you're trying to, especially when you're trying to paint something that doesn't already exist. You're not trying to paint something from reference. Need to make this a bit more subtle with the hair. The pattern that I've chosen is a bit too on the nose. Strands are a bit too high contrast. They're too strand-like. Because the hair is quite dark already, most of the strand values that we're adding on top are lighter than the base. We're going to be thinking of the Fresnel effect as well, really making it kind of like brighter on the edges, because it's an organically rounded shape still, so the edges kind of catch the light. Especially if it's hair like this, you get a fur glow type effect, similar to Fresnel. Not quite the same, but it's certainly very similar. You can see I'm thinking of the light coming here and hitting this ridge of hair that's here. See, the hair's bent like that, so the light's going to hit right on where the curvature is. And this area is that Fresnel type effect that I'm talking about. It gets kind of brighter as it stretches backwards, and that's because it's coming over this horizon. And again, another horizon here, stretching back there, and you're looking at it, a thinner and thinner slice of it. So it gets brighter and brighter, and you might even get, you know, like some really bright, almost white outline on a lot of things. Especially if you do like, I do a lot of organically rounded, kind of like steel shapes in my more futuristic-y paintings, and Almost all of them have kind of like almost a bright white outline going all the way around. Let's try and fix this part in the hair a little bit. Rid of these big strands here. I probably shouldn't have painted these in so early. Just ended up rubbing them out anyway. Just always remember, the best thing about digital art, you almost can't make a mistake. You can just you can always work something, panel, beat it into shape, you know. Even if you have a really bad start with digital work, got infinite malleability. Always fix it. Jesus. This is looking more and more 3D. It's like they remade. It's like they remade the base. But like with more detail and in a much different style. Wow. That would make a great base in itself almost. Love the mustache. That's super 3D looking, that is. This one, just like I said earlier, like a proper tattoo design. That's so cool. I love the shimmeriness of this material that we're going with on the shoulders and the neck. Absolutely awesome. I might have another go with the proportions on this. See if there's anything else that needs to be done. Yeah, is it just me or does it feel like it's kind of been stretched up like that? That's what this liquify brush is when you're trying to figure out the proportions. You're trying to think, does it look like someone's got a normal painting and then stretched it just... Someone's got a normal painting and they've just stretched it a little bit here and there, you know, just to make it just slightly off. It's kind of how I imagine it, and now I'm trying to correct them and figure out how to undo the exact moves that they took. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. I think just a tiny bit less. Yeah, you see what I mean? It's always especially when you're doing a portrait, it's going to be just the most subtle movements. Nice. I'm going to smooth this whole area here. I think this cheek needs a bit of smoothing. I think that highlight that we tried to add, it just wasn't quite working. It's too smooth to have such a strong highlight. Sometimes that's what happens. The highlight gets, because the surface is so smooth, and as the surface gets more smooth, the highlight gets more and more blurry, basically. Once something, that means that as something gets smooth, you can't have such a sharp, concentrated, bright highlight. It just can't get concentrated enough to be as bright. You know, like the smaller a highlight is, the brighter it's going to be, because all the light gets focused. The same amount of light gets focused in a smaller area. So when you spread that out by kind of blurring it with a big smooth surface instead of a small one, it can't get quite as dark. One of the toughest parts about doing a portrait, I feel, especially when you're doing kind of like a really typical human portrait. It's getting the shininess of the skin just right, because the shininess of it actually changes smoothly from area to area. Like it's slightly more shiny around the eyes, for example, typically. And there's so many areas that have to be like, you know, this really blurry, and then so many areas that have to be very sharp, and it's very important that you don't mix them up either. Like under the eyes here, you see I'm normally tempted to do quite a, I mean that's quite blurry as is, but still not enough. You really want to blur the underneath of the eyes often, more than I tried to originally. You see that geometry's still there, but we've just, like I say, we've dipped our hands in the water bucket and smoothed it out. Much less dramatic. I think especially with feminine type faces, but just in general. Probably just in general when you're painting humans, human anatomy. We need to bring in more black and white. People like the black and white one. So yeah, I guess I was wrong. I thought people would like the colour one more. I honestly thought maybe people didn't join as much on the one before because there wasn't as much colour. That might still be true. I think maybe the thumbnail having colour in it, probably still not a bad idea. Oh, sorry, I messed that up. So come out of my painting. Magma head challenge. I'm just gonna fill it. Just gonna put a few more of these in. So people are loving them so much, loving the black and white ones. I'm gonna put 3 in to replace the 3 that people have been painting on. I love this kind of cloud of different pieces of concept art. Really enjoying doing the characters from last time. Where are they? Yeah, this was super fun as well. We'll do this again very soon. I just kind of like a spaceman. I think it's a bit too 80s style though. I think I'm gonna go for something a bit more ultra futuristic. But yeah, we can get, you know, with this one we can design likenesses. With that one we can design characters. We've got we've got one for designing more like environments and full compositions. I think we can really start to do a lot of concept art on these art jams, which is, it's a big push for me because I like excuse me, I love I just love the idea of painting in public and painting with others and stuff like that. I think this communal style painting is the way forwards. I think it's the future. This is how we beat AI. We make multiplayer painting. But you know, painting as a multiplayer experience, it's not, I really don't think it's a bad idea at all. And yeah, I think that genuinely, like, unironically can combat AI in a way. So it really brings the fun, like the raw fun back into painting of, you know, just like how multiplayer, like I've said before, how multiplayer games really brought a new kind of fun into video games. You do still get fun single player experiences, even if gaming's kind of teetering lately. No, I personally do stick to the retro stuff. I play a lot of multiplayer too, but mostly just the modern ones, I'd say. Got a broken graphics card at the moment, so I can't run anything too advanced on this PC. Thinking more and more about maybe trying to make a bit of an RPG game as well on this channel, and that'd be really fun. And do loads of kind of more pixelated art as well. We've got RPG Maker installed. I grabbed it on Steam, so heard that's quite easy to use. It's probably I don't know, I was just looking for the easiest way that we could make a game and shove some of these assets that we make on Laugh Arts into it. You know, more of an art project, a game that is really just an excuse to have an art project, if that is the right way to put it. I'm going to brighten the chin up here. Had to do it very slowly and carefully though, and lots of zooming out to see if it's just right, because we're really making a big contrast change here and change the dynamics of the image. It's got to be just right. I think that does look better though. A bit more brightness on the chin. I think someone just entered this canvas here. didn't edit anything. Yeah, they did. Oh, I see. Yeah, you see people enter the canvas here and it breaks it. Does that kick them from the layer? Oh, that makes me own the layer. Yeah, so I need to kick everyone from these layers. That might be what's happening, is some people are joining, trying to paint on one of these and finding that it's kind of locked off because someone else has already joined it and not painted on it. So there you go. I think now that when someone joins that, they can actually select the layer. I've got that in the rules. Try not to... Obviously someone's still broken, but try not to... I did put it as try not to, because I know people are going to do it by accident still anyway, but yeah, try not to select one of these when you don't intend to paint on it. See, someone else has joined it now. Although if they join and leave like they just did, well, they'll break it again. Ah well. Sometimes I think it's better instead of kicking the layers, just keep making new ones. People are gonna do that plenty of times by accident anyway, so we've got to have some kind of redundancies. Not like it's always on purpose even. These darker strands are making it look really nice, I think. I think it really needed that actually. Some here too. I don't know if I mess them ones up a little bit. I've got to have a bit more finesse than that, but yeah, right here in the roots, where we can see the roots of that hair coming out. And they're really the light's coming this way, so they're really facing away from the light. Simple, most simple lighting rules. It's facing the light, it's going to be brighter. See that person enter this one, so I'm just gonna delete it and remake it with one over here. Okay, we're gonna add some more contrast, and most of because it's kind of already got the brights that it needs, the contrast is gonna be in the darks more so. Gonna be tough though, because a lot of it ends up in the eye socket, but it's hard to stop it from looking like they've got a black eye. See what I mean? We can use the blur brush. Usually it's because it's just not quite soft enough, or because the surrounding area hasn't been worked on just right. There's also on the face there is a crease that goes kind of like this. It's visible on some people. Sometimes I'll actually do the shading a little bit like that. It'll just be a bit of a harder line right there. I don't think that's appropriate here though. Gotta try it. I think she's just got quite wide set eyes. Could be that we end up changing those proportions later, we'll see. Try out everything. I'm noticing that this eye is kind of higher up on the face than that one. A good thing to do as well, I don't often do this, but obviously flipping the canvas. A lot of artists do that, and that will show you where it needs, especially that will help you with the liquefier. It's a little bit better, I think. The liquefy tool on this software is really good at least. I have to give it praise for something. It's quite impressive, the liquefy tool on this is actually. I think it's even better than Critters. And this is literally online. Speaking of, I'm just going to move the bottom of the eye back up a tiny bit like that. And her pupils ended up being a bit distended because we've done too much liquify on her poor eye. A bit more like that. There you go. It just gets better and better, very slowly over time. Just kind of influencing the shape as you go. I think that's the hard thing when you start out with painting as well, is having that faith that, you know, if you just keep painting on it, it'll eventually shape up and look how you want it to. But it will, because you can spend a year painting a picture of a face and, you know, eventually you'll get it looking how you want it to, right? Even if it's a very frustrating experience, you will eventually. Mathematically, you must, right, at some point. Should get what you've got in mind. A bit more darkness to the lips. Trying to keep them soft though, so doing it in lots of little passes of getting it slowly darker in some places. Get kind of a gradation going down. And if you find yourself wanting more pixels, like I think I might be soon, you can just enlarge the painting as well and carry on working on it. As you can see, we're working on very few pixels with the eye here. It's more like a mosaic. How fine and how small that's going. And as I paint, I have to make things quite small. Like I said, this is like a big egghead when you start off. The pattern is. I'm just going to replace this one over here because it looks like someone's taken it over. Drag a fresh one in. Excuse me. Wow. Yeah, I'm really glad with the turnout today. All of these look sick as well. Especially that collar and neck there. It's proper like a tattoo. I always forget people can see my cursor on here. Yeah, this one's looking like better and better as it goes on as well. They're like slowly chiseling it down. That's a, what is it? That's a part of subdivision as well. Subdivision of surfaces, and that is literally a thing in sculpting, in digital sculpting. You know, you can see how this person has started with a few basic planes, and then they've subdivided those planes to get the softer, rounded parts. And as they subdivide it more and more, they get more and more detail because they're getting smaller and smaller planes. Also more, probably smoother lighting too. This one's going great to start with as well. Again, just following the basic fundamentals right, this person. Down is dark, up is bright. Everyone here's got really good good kind of fundamentals knowledge, I feel like. just gonna add a tiny bit of brightness to the ear here. Especially that little bit there. Bit of rim light maybe even. Just going to push the shadow back on the cheek a little bit there. I've kind of been fighting with this painting with the shadow on the cheek here. Pushing it forwards and back as we've gone along, but I think back is better. I think just a nice soft light works best on this portrait. See just how bright we can go maybe. How bright can we push it? It's already pretty bright right here on the forehead. Sometimes right there on the eyebrow where the light's kind of bouncing off this little pad shape right here. A little pad here and a little pad here. So it'll be a bit brighter and catch a highlight sometimes too. This is where we're really pushing it because we're trying to pack. It's almost like, you know, the painting's mostly finished, but it's that extra surplus time that you push yourself to do that makes a painting look really good, I feel like sometimes. That's the theory I've got in my head at the moment anyway. Getting a painting to look really nice is really about pushing yourself to do that. Put that extra time in even after it feels like you've almost done everything you can. Getting things perfect, you know. That's why I want to start doing on these streams, like I say, these are about 3 hours maximum, so I think 1 3-hour painting is normally that's like a decent, it's more like a 2.5 hour painting because I spend half an hour in efficiency just talking. You know what I mean? 2.5 hours is just kind of pushing it. It's like the shortest amount of time that you can spend painting something really nice. I think if we just focus on painting one thing and getting it really nice in a stream, I think that's a bit more fruitful. Rather than 1,000 half-finished little projects. I'll make the nose a bit more red while we're at it, while we're messing with it. A bit more rosy. More subsurface scattering on the nose we need. Probably a lot more actually. So I'm going to go with some almost cherry red right there. Use the blur brush and kind of blend things in. And painting really is a lot about just getting the right values in roughly the right places. That's what makes things look really good. Just having the perfect values. Not necessarily the exact shapes of things that's so important. Especially for making things look realistic. A lot of people think realism is like hyper-realism, like the hyper-detail style realism, but it's not really. Realism is loose as well. The exact same concepts apply. And ultra loose artwork and just regular kind of looseness artwork and super tight artwork like you get in ultra realism. See, I'm not doing a very good job of it here, but just doing some kind of lighter strands, trying to break this hair up here. And the silhouette's going to be really important to break the silhouette up. Right here. Should see the strands like on the outside. Let's get some really dark areas in the hair as well. I think we still have probably even quite a lot of contrast we can go to. Actually, we can play with the filter and see if we can cheat a bit of that contrast in early. And we're going to try that actually. Let's give it a go in a sec. Let me just get just a few more of these darker strands in the hair so it's all congruent. Like I say, you render hair as one object, but obviously you just then kind of do it in a strand like. It's really more the brush work that gives the hair its texture. Okay then, should we see if we can filter this into having a bit more contrast? Brightness and contrast we got right here. I don't know if it needs to get that much brighter, but it certainly needs more contrast. That looks a bit better already, I think. It's a bit yellow, but we can fix that. Problem is the chest was already kind of perfect, so it's just the face that's kind of not caught up with the chest. I think that's good. I'm just going to roll it back a tiny bit. It might be saturation that we need more of as well, really. Actually, I'm just going to go with that. I've only changed it a tiny bit there, but and that looks a bit better. And I do think that the saturation is probably going to do more for us. Yes. Yeah, doesn't that look much more vibrant and better? You can think of this as kind of just camera settings, you know, whenever like a lot of photographers take photos in what's called RAW as well, where it's just the raw data because that's what every camera takes it in, and it's just the data, and then you put it into a piece of software that interprets the data, and that can interpret it in any way, right? It's what's it called? It's subjective. So when you edit your own paintings like this, it's almost exactly the same. You're just kind of interpreting the settings, the right camera settings, the right rendering settings. Yeah, that looks much nicer. So you can see how much paler the painting was before we did those. And that's very easy to do. So don't sleep on those filters. Add a lot of vibrancy to your work. Wow, this one's getting smoother and smoother. It's almost like a marble statue that's just slowly being kind of chiseled away at this one. Becoming more and more detailed. Like I say, sticking to the fundamentals. This one looking great still as well. See, they're really trying to treat it like a sculpture. They're really trying to pick at it the little bits and just influence it into the shadow they want, but they're still using the right kind of rules. Like you can see with the eye sockets, they've gone darker on the top there and a bit brighter where the cheekbones are. So the only thing they might want to remember is to make the bridge of the nose, with this lighting, the bridge of the nose just over there is going to be a bit brighter. But yeah, they're doing great so far. So they keep going on that, it's going to look awesome. And this one, man, this person's been with it. It's like I was saying, I might make mine just a little bit larger. Apparently my OBS disconnected and reconnected. Let me just double check my streams. I need to check my internet. It says it's low bit rate whenever I'm streaming lately. Okay, looks like we're back in action anyway. So yeah, we want to make this just a bit bigger, I think. I just want a few more pixels to play with. I want it to be high resolution. Especially if we're going to be spending a few more hours on it. Won't hurt to put a bit more detail in. Excuse me. Yeah, that's the thing about this template as well. People don't paint on their own layer. In fact, unless people are approved, which let me just go ahead and approve some of the people who are painting. How do I approve people? Yeah, just anyone who actually spends time here painting gets an approve, of course. I kind of forgot to do that, to be honest. Probably should have approved them earlier. Just lets you use the paint bucket and make some more layers if you like. But if you're not approved, you only have the option of the one layer. Right. Can you just bear with me? Oh, this person's painting disappeared. Not sure why. But yeah, if you just bear with me, I'm just gonna go and get top my drink up and stretch my legs a little, and I'll be right back for the last hour of the stream. So I'm gonna do the be right back with the screen. Okay, we're back and we're ready to pump even. I think I dropped my pen somewhere. There you go. Yeah, we're ready to put even more detail into this painting that we're going on. And I was just thinking, I might pump some more detail into this one, and then I might go on to one of these blanks and make a new template and see if people like that. I mean, I want to kind of inspired by this guy almost even. But I was already thinking of doing this, kind of like I say, more of an Asaro head. So we'll sculpt something a bit like that out of this one maybe, and you know, we can actually make a new template on the live stream live. You know, really liking how this one's going. Yeah, they're properly using the, oh excuse me, properly using the template there. I think this one's going to turn out really nice if they just keep working at it. This one is still getting better and better. That hair is looking so real. Yeah, I love this one. This one is proper tattoo worthy. Absolutely awesome. Absolutely love this one too. Or like already, this is looking great. Properly splitting it up into planes. Using a lot of glazing too. Wow. This one's getting more and more and more subdivided. You can see it's just getting finer and finer detail. And this person's really, really like learning. You can see the basic kind of material ball, how it works, you know. I think this one's gonna look good too if they keep going. I'd love to recommend a bit of the blur brush as well. Really bring it together. A lot of these really, while it's around. I like that some people are trying different skin colours and complexions as well. This person, you can see they've edited it. I'm not sure why they did that, but there you go. Oh wow, that's cool. Oh, they're using wow, that's a great idea. Yeah, I think they're using a mask. I didn't think anyone would do that. That's a great idea. Alright. Man, I really am at that point. I don't know what much more, maybe we'll just move on to doing the kind of Asaro head style one. I feel like it could just be a bit brighter on this side of the head though. It's just a bit of a nitpick. I might have gone too dark indeed. I don't know why I was trying to push so much darkness on that side. Yeah, you see it looks a bit better now. It's a little bit brighter. I want to keep the pinkness though that's right there. It's really nice. Right, yeah, this is getting too much for the servers to handle, I feel like. I would say to delete some spares, but I really want to keep plenty of spares hanging around, especially because I've already seen people getting put off because they join one and can't paint on it. And it kind of helps to have more spares, because they might join one and see that it's broken and then just join another one, you know. Whoa, that's looking cool. Seeing how some of these are developing is so interesting. That looks awesome so far. Wow, that was fast. Yeah, they're really getting a foothold. And this person's done. Why is it? I love the painterly look and the planes. Yeah, there's some proper understanding of the fundamentals in this art jam today. So much talent on here. People blow me away, honestly. You'll have to bear with me for a second in a moment. Let me just continue with this eye for now. Just needs to be a little bit darker right there. The blur brush out and see what that does to it. Yeah, I don't know what I would have done on this. I don't know if I could have used this magma as like my main painting app if they didn't add this, and it's very recent addition, this blur brush. It's not my favourite blur brush. It doesn't work nearly as well as the Krita one, but especially doesn't smear quite as well. But it's still very useful. I've ended up using it a lot more than I thought I would. Especially if you need to get a realistic look, it's absolutely required then, pretty much. I'm just going to see where this person joins. I think a new person's joined us, but they haven't quite picked a canvas yet. Trying to be a good moderator here. Yeah, I don't know if I guess you could see it on the Be Right Back screen. I was having to do it a little bit, especially because some people had kind of locked the things off. I had to go and fix it for people. Yeah, kind of doing two jobs here. Or that's kind of what I wanted for the channel, you know. Glad we're finding some success in these art jams because this is just super fun. I could definitely see myself doing this often. Super easy, super fun, carefree. There's so many different formats as well that I've been able to come up with already. You know, this is one of them. It's kind of a face. But I've come up with ones where it's like, you know, you're doing environments, and I'm sure there's plenty more that I can, probably infinite that you could do. You could make loads of these. Oh, I nearly just spilled Coca-Cola all over my desk. But yeah, there's a million different types of these art jams that you can do. Even just the basic one that's just one canvas that people just paint random stuff on. You know, we've done plenty of those, and I think those really draw people in as well. I like to do these templates more though, because I feel like it, excuse me. I feel like you're kind of giving something more to the community, you know, than just a blank canvas. You're giving a piece of actual content, you know, that you've spent time creating then. And like I say, I see this as completely, what's it called, public domain. Anyone can use it or make their own art jams with them, or, do you know what I mean? So I feel like this is a good way to kind of give more than what just the blank grey canvas type of art jam can do. Oh, here you go, they picked a canvas here. I'm just going to approve them. Now that they've picked a canvas. I'm going to double check on them too and see that they can actually paint. Yeah, so they do own their top layer. That's all I need to see, and then kick myself from their other layer. And I don't know why it automatically puts me in a layer. It's really annoying. I wish I could turn it off, but yeah, I just need to make sure that they have access to all the layers. I should have put in the rules as well, just a bit more of instruction of what to actually do, and to try and to make sure you own all of your layers. Yeah, that's one thing when you join one of these art jams where I'm doing these kind of these templates, make sure when you click on a template and own it, you make sure you own all the layers. Just going to duplicate a few of these too. I think a lot of these streams, especially these art jams as well, will probably just be more me talking as well and doing a bit of moderation, especially once more people are joining. But then again, I can get admins, I suppose, as well. So it's annoying as well, because sometimes I want to duplicate a bunch, but I don't know if I'm duplicating one that somebody already owns a layer in. Someone has already broken it, you know, and then you duplicate it, and it does actually duplicate the ownership as well. So make sure it's sterile. And duplicate it a couple of times. Alright, give me 1 sec. I've just got to sort something out over the phone. I'll be right back. Bro, the stuff people are painting on here is blowing me away. Right, for one, this has turned into like a statue with a beard. And it looks awesome. But even this guy knows this statue is sick. This one's still going forward. It's getting some eyes. Looks kind of like Alien. Looks sick, man. Properly, what is it? They've properly took the sculpting to heart. It does look like they've actually like sculpted it. They've kind of like scraped it out with a spoon. You know what I mean? They've really been using the sculpting techniques there. Awesome. This one as well. Starting out, it's they're thinking about their shapes and their shadow pan. I think. Can't wait to see how that turns out. Just need to remember that that it's a very egg-shaped silhouette. It might throw this person off if they don't remember to use the eraser and actually get the silhouette of the face looking nice. Maybe we can, as well as doing kind of an Asaro head start one, maybe we can get one that's just a bit better proportion as well. It's not such an egg. This one's cool too. This person's using lines, which is great. I like to see variety. You can interpret these bases however you like. Excuse me. I'm sure they're probably using lines to line up how they're gonna sculpt it into shape, because they have actually changed the values of they've actually used the levels and I think probably even the saturation and brightness and contrast filter settings to change theirs. So and they're the only person I've seen do that so far. Can't wait to see what they do in 3D when they start when they go back to the paint after that drawing, which I suspect they might do. This one's just looking awesome. It has done from the start. This person works really fast as well, proper speed painter. I feel like they painted it and then, I don't know if, I can see that it's been aliased. I think they painted it and then made it larger, unless it's, I don't know if it's magma bugging out. Oh, we got a new person. See if they pick something. I just need to figure out how to moderate these things. Waiting for their picture to show up on one of these canvases, see if they join it, and I'll approve them and make sure. I'll go in the canvas with them and make sure that they own all their layers. Okay, so yeah, they do own all of their layers. Kick myself from that layer. And kick myself from their painting, and if they start painting, I'll approve them. Excuse me. Yeah, we got a nice formula here. I was really I'm glad I did get a few goes at setting these up where just a few people would join and it would be kind of an easier time moderating. Because I didn't even know if this format was possible on Art Jams before, but it's kind of coming together now and I'm starting to see how it can work. Wondering how it would kind of be possible, because I haven't seen anyone else do it kind of like this with the multi-boards. Okay, I'm just gonna smooth this nose here, because I noticed this line and this line right here. Just want to be a bit smoother. We'll probably keep coming back and making little micro changes to this, but it is basically done now. I know the neck is kind of weird, but well, yeah, let's fix the neck. Let's fix the neck. The last thing we'll do is fix the neck. It's not really like a priority. It's more of the face that I'm trying to kind of design when I do these, but it just needs to be shortened a little bit, really, doesn't it? Just a bit like that. Why not? And then when you get this line, sometimes if there's no gap in the middle, you can patch it up with you do a bit of a quick and dirty patch up with the blur brush, just like that. You never know it happened. Also need to reshape the shoulder a little bit for that to work, I think. And the back of the neck. Oh. A little bit like that. There you go. Now it looks like she's got a big head, but whatever. We're gonna leave it like that. Bit of a bobblehead. Yeah, so everyone painting right now is approved, everyone, so... Sometimes people do just come and watch though. Yeah, this is going to be cool. They've kind of drawn themselves a guide, and now they're going to try and sculpt it to the guide. Remember, man, you can erase this side here. You can make it whatever shape you want. I'm just going to double check that they can own the layers. Let me quickly kick myself from that layer. Yeah, they own every layer. Instead of kicking myself, I should give it to them. It's alright, it's just a spare. Oh, you know, the reason I actually entered that canvas though was to see, and I didn't, I'm not going to do it again, but I wanted to see if they're painting on a layer that's over the blank, or if they're modifying it, that's over the, what's it called, that's over the actual face itself, over the model, you know, or if they're using the actual model layer, because obviously you can't erase, and you can't do as much, because you can't erase it, you can't play with the, what's it called, the silhouette as much of the face, and actually shape it, if you're painting in just a layer that's on top, unless you grab the background and paint over it, which is hard to do, because it's kind of a, it's got a gradient the background has, and it'll make your brush strokes stand out. This just looks cooler and cooler as it goes on. Looks awesome. I'd like to see if they add a bit more contrast into the hair and the face to kind of match the shoulders and the headbands. I think that might be more of a stylistic choice, not to. This is looking sick. Like killer alien, man. This is turned into like a proper Greek statue. Absolutely awesome some of this work is. Oh, you can see them going for it. They're kind of smoothing the edge down. Yes. Go on, make it yours. Sculpt it like marble. Yeah, that's looking sick now. I love that mouth. This one's still coming along. You can see this person's got a lot of they've got a bit of practice already with speed painting for sure. Just the brushwork that they use, you can tell, and the values that they pick too. You can see how they're managing the saturation just right as it goes around. I think it annoys people a little bit sometimes when you're looking at their work and just kind of hovering your paintbrush over theirs. We've got a new person with us. Is that Michi or Michi? I'm not sure. Make sure they've got all of their layers. Yeah, if I just make sure that everyone in their paintings owns all of their layers, so no one can kind of go in and troll and layer, hopefully. You can't get it to be ungriefable, I don't think, but it seems like 99.99% of people are just here to enjoy the painting experience. Wow, that is looking really cool now. Jesus. You see, it even looks like it's got the right surface texture. When you zoom out on that, that looks super. That's really got a realistic feel to it. It's a great job, that is. And then you've got this perfect fundamentals over here. They've really transferred the material ball onto there, and they've changed the material itself to more like stone. They've unpolished the surface. But they've not just sculpted it, and they've sculpted it so much, haven't they? Done such a good job, but they've also changed the actual material of it and the surface texture to be more matte, so it actually looked more like stone. And if they wanted, they could go in and polish it again, the blur brush, and with some sharper reflections. And again, this guy, can I even say, just doing a great job of it. Perfect, perfect example of speed painting. It's interesting how they've got anti-aliasing on their brush. I don't know how they've done that. I don't know if that's just my software or something, but I've never seen someone paint with a brush with anti-aliasing on it like that. Looks really cool. Looks awesome. And you can just see that they just got a natural feel for the three dimensions. The three dimensions. Is three-dimensionality a word? But yeah, that's what they've got sense for. You can see they've got it perfect with the light on the cheekbone, forehead. They know the planes of the face as well. This one's just awesome. Oh my god, I couldn't have seen it. I couldn't have seen it coming, even this one. Wow, they've really done a great job there. I love these kind of like neon black rubber hose motifs that they've got going, and absolutely love that neck and shoulders, like the slits. It's like metal. So cool. This one I like too still. It's a bit like I said, it's a bit like deep fried. And this is shaping up well as well, isn't it? Wow, they're really thinking about tiling. I think this is going to be a successful one here. I think this is going to turn out a bit like the statue one over here. Right, let's do some of our own work. I'm just oh wow, look at this one as well. I think this person's left, but I'm gonna leave that. That's a really nice attempt. I didn't even notice that happening. Massive success today has been. Tell you what. Right, I'm going to make sure no one's in this one. I'm going to make a couple more of them. People love this black and white one, it seems. It will not let me move my... Oh, there you go. I just want my comment to be next to my painting. I like how they programmed it that you can't, so that you can't. I'm just gonna have faith that this one doesn't have someone in the layer already. There you go. Sorry, I can't remember what I was saying. Oh, I just copied this one, and it does have people that already own it. I think when I'm making new ones, it's best to just drag a completely fresh file in and actually maybe even delete some of the old ones. Let me drag a fresh file in for the pale skin colour. There you go. The only problem is it takes a little while to load up, but at least I know then that it's a completely fresh file that no one owns any of the layers of. Yeah, I think everyone painting right now is approved, so this is turning out sick. I keep seeing it in the corner of my eye further away. Yeah, I've realised that I'm probably not gonna end up painting much on any of these streams with the art jams. It's just too fun seeing what everyone else paints. Alright. So yeah, I'm gonna go into this one. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to actually live on air, I'm going to spend some time and we'll make some slightly edited versions. I'm going to make one that's not quite so egg shaped. And this is going to be probably the easiest one. This will literally take me like 5 minutes. I'm just going to make it more like an actual face shape, more accurate. So I really feel like it might be making it more difficult for people to get their proportions right, because they're not starting with proportions that are any good, right? I think the chin as well. Just gonna move it up a little bit like that. Still a tiny bit eggy. Is that closer? I might just make this the one actually, because that's much better. There is a bug up here, I knew it. I should make the 2 skin color versions of this too. Maybe we can do that on air right now as well. That can show how we make the skin complexions. Just gonna do a tiny bit more of that on this head. Yeah, and I think the whole thing just feels like it's leaning forwards a bit. Is that better or that? I think just a tiny bit less. You gotta do such small adjustments with this brush sometimes. It's so powerful. I'll push that lump in on the cheek. There you go. So you see it's just a lot less egg shades. You might not even notice the difference at first glance. Especially because on stream it's kind of warped, but it's a lot less egg shades now, and I feel like, wow, they're gonna do colour on it. It looks sick, man. But yeah, I think people will find it easier to get the right proportions. I think I'm kind of dooming some people by giving them kind of an egg-shaped face. Yeah, I wish I could tell some of these people, you know, you really want to work on the silhouette, you really want to erase. You want to erase this side here. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a portrait that ends up like an egg. So yeah, just I need to very quickly swap them all out for the less egg-shaped ones. And I think people will find it a lot more enjoyable to paint on this. Let me just save this. Give me 1 sec. I don't really know if there's any sensitive information in my files or what have you. I'm just going to give you the be right back 1 sec. I'm just going to save this as a file and then export it. Okay, then let's test that out. Wow, they've gone in with the pupils early. They're doing great, this guy, so, or this person. They're really thinking about the values, and like I said, you can see they've worked on the tiles here. I like how everyone kind of edits it into the brushwork that they tend to use. This is looking awesome now. Yeah, they went with the bridge of the nose. I'm glad they got there. Wow, they're really sculpting it, this person is. It's looking awesome. And this one looks sick. It's looking so realistic already. Especially when you zoom out. Oh my god, the talent on here is crazy. Actually blows me away. And this one's going to look great. I can't wait to see it finished. Yeah, it's going to be an amazing likeness. You can see they've got just a natural, they've got a good 3D comprehension. Just naturally, they must have had some experience, I feel like. Okay, well, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to get rid of the egg ones now. And I'm going to replace them with the new black and white egg, the non-egg versions. I'm going to drag one on. Just saved it as a PSD. So now that I drag it in as well as a new file, it will automatically have empty layers too, which will be good. It's just loading it in. There you go. Drag some of these around. So we've got some empty templates for people to click into. We've got an extra person. Let's see if they join one of these layers. purple. Oh, here they are. I'm just going to start approving people straight away if they start painting on an actual canvas. Sometimes it seems like sometimes they want to make layers. Okay, then let's carry on with our mission. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to duplicate this guy. Where am I? Well, I've got other copies actually. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to remake the 2 different skin complexions that we had. I'm going to make the darker skin and the pale skin. Right, am I in the right one? Was someone else in my one then? I think they joined onto my one. But yeah, they can. They joined into my one and seen I was already in it. I hope they join another one that hasn't got someone in it. I don't know if some people can get confused sometimes with this format, especially because so many of them are already owned. See if they stick around and pick another empty one. There's some empty ones in all 3 variants. Okay, let me show how to use these levels again. Or actually, I'll do the 2 different complexions of this one later. Or no, I'll do it now. I'm always on the fence with stuff. I want to show how to do the Asara head one, especially before we run out of time. I've got about half an hour. Let's give it a go. It'll only take a second to do these ones anyway, and then I know that people are painting on nice ones. Person is still here, but I don't think they've selected another canvas yet. The person who just selected mine. We see who they are. Oh, I think it was just someone who was already here. Another person's joined. See if they select one. I think a lot of the we look watching this guy here. I think a lot of should do like a big dash on this one to show. Should do something like that so people know. Let's see if he joins one. I think a lot of people get confused because all of the middle ones are being painted on now, and it's just it feels like it's just a few on the periphery that are actually free. Should I duplicate a couple? My software just broke a little bit, I feel like. Let me close this and open it again. Yeah, there you go. Oh, they picked one, nice. Right, I'm gonna prove them. And I'm gonna jump in there and see if they own all of their layers. Yeah, they do. Just assign their other layers to them for them. Okay, should we try the Asara head version? Let's do it. Oh, we're gonna do the skin colors first. Filter. So yeah, we just want curves. I'll show you how we got those skin colors. I'm gonna try and match the ones that we've already done. Just looking at that one. So I think it just wants to be, for this pale skin tone, just a bit brighter on the darker end. Sorry, I can't remember whether this side's the bright side. I think this is dark and this is bright. And when you change the elevation, you know, you're making all of the brighter stuff more red, for example, here. And all of the darker stuff less red, so you see it turns blue, which is like the opposite. And you can kind of, genuinely, if you get like a natural feel for how colour works, you can wield it quite efficiently. So you can see I am getting to what I want to get to here. It's mostly by feel, and a little bit by just knowledge of skin color, because I know obviously we start from black and white, so it's a very unbiased base. It's super easy to kind of work from, but also I've kind of done mixing of oil paints and stuff like that, so I know, you know, a little bit more red is needed in skin typically. So you see I upped the red more than anything else, and probably I upped the yellow a little bit too, and the green just slightly. Well, there's no yellow, so it would be yeah, it'd be the green and the blue that I up, I think, or just the green even. There you go. You see we've kind of given it from black and white, and given it a nice skin tone there. Is it as nice as this one? I think we could make it a little bit better. I think we might have gone too far on the red. We could do with a little bit more green. And I think we need more blue in the shadows to make purplish shadows. Oh. Yeah, it's kind of interesting trying to kind of wrangle the lines. Making such tiny, minute movements there sometimes. I think that's it. I think we got it spot on there. I think that might be even a little bit better because it's a little less yellow than the other one I noticed. But I would like to change the overall saturation now in a separate filter because I just feel like it needs to be more saturated generally. Yeah, definitely. Put it to like that much saturation. And there you go, we've got a non-egg-headed model of the pale skin. And all we had to do was play with the curves and, well, and obviously we did the saturation filter too. It'd be nice if built into that curves one, I noticed there's one that's just for the black and white. It'd be nice if there was one for the saturation as well as the tone. Those three values, the saturation and the tone, would be really cool to get just one extra curve like that. I feel like I might have made a mistake here though, which is I think the head shouldn't poke out as much as it does, but I don't think that'll be too big of a problem because the ear kind of fits in then, and you kind of cut it off in a natural way, so I think we'll get away with that. I think people will still find that easy. Oh, the hair looks great there now, and it's got all its contrast. You see it goes all the way to black now, almost to white. I think the next way they could add contrast, they'd go further to white even. Oh, and I can see them adding more dark to the eyes as well. So yeah, they're starting to bring the face and the hair to full contrast. It's been nice watching that develop. This guy's really taking on the sculptorly approach as well, I can see. Loads of people really getting the idea. This person's also, you can see they've shaped side of the face already. They're doing the silhouette work. I think they're going to be successful. This is getting creepy and creepier as it goes, but it looks cool. Like trapped in a misty hairstyle or something. This one turned out great. Wow, I love how they added to the shoulders as well, which is, yeah, you can do that. They kind of tried to cut it off right where the meat of the shoulder is, so you can add that, especially if you want it to look more masculine. So, and they've done that, so that's really smart. They've figured that one out from the beginning. And yeah, you can see this one looks really like a lot like a sculpting. I feel like they've painted it in a really sculpted way. There's definitely some talent on here. And this person with the tile in as well. It's great examples. A couple of amazing examples on here. Oh wow. Yeah, this one's coming together. They're bringing in the contrast now. This one's just, I think this one's got some of the most realistic values on the canvas too. Done great with the shoulders and the collarbones. And I love that this is the only person I've seen that's actually done their own couple of filters to kind of change it to their own complexion. You know, they made even a bit darker of a complexion. And this one's great. They just completely like almost sculpted it from anew, which is brilliant. No, we wouldn't reset. There's no point. I mean, I don't know what the maximum amount of canvas is you're allowed on one of these multi-board art jams is, but I don't know, I need to search it up actually, come to think of it, but I don't know if there is if there's a limit to how many boards you can get, so you know, even if someone only does a little bit of work, I like to keep it like this, because this is still good. Might as well just keep it around and make a few more, so that they're ready for people. Excuse me. I don't know about this one. They have literally just done a bit of a nose. Alright then. I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna remake the darker complexion. I'm gonna duplicate a couple of these too. Let me kick myself from all of these layers. Or actually I won't do it to this one. Let me enter these layers. Yeah, I'm just gonna duplicate a couple of these now that I've un-egg-headed it. You see, this one is just so egg-headed that I think when people start painting on it, it might put them off a little bit, but make a couple of these, kick myself from all the layers, save it in a little bit as well. There you go, just make a bunch of them. All over the place. Delete some of the old ones too. This one's the one, the original one, so I'm just going to separate it from the crowd. This person didn't really work on theirs, I'm just going to go ahead and delete that. Duplicate this. This is the right one, isn't it? Yeah. Okay then, should we make a darker skin complexion? Filter, curves. Let's give it a go. I think there's going to be a little bit more red. A little bit less green than last time. See, you can do crazy things as well. Should we do like a crazy one? We'll do that. We'll do that next time we do the faces, I think. We're gonna have to really. And I think the RGB as well needs a lot more changing on this one. With darker complexions, it's the reflectiveness. Not that kind, but not like metallic, but almost. You know, it's like the highlights are a bit sharper on darker skin tone. It takes a lot of changes with this RGB one too. Notice we didn't change it much with the paler skin. I think that's because the black and white one is already kind of pale. I think we need more red. Kind of struggling to... Oh, I see. I'm too high up. Need more red down here, maybe. Yeah. A lot of just little bits of experimentation. You're just trying to go for what feels right. Haven't done anything on the blue quite yet. I think the blue's going to be mostly untouched, honestly. There you go. I don't know if that's as good as the original. Let's try and play with the RGB a bit. See if we can get it to more closely match. It might need to be a bit more orange as well. That's it. Oh man, it's so finicky. There you go, I think that's just about right. and we'll just change the saturation, get a little bit higher. Lovely. Right then, so yeah, I think that's a good place. I'm going to stick around on this canvas for a little bit and just kind of make sure that people join the kind of, you know, they've got what they need and stuff like that. Might do a little bit more painting, but for now I think I'm going to sign out. And I'll be back tomorrow. Or maybe I'll hop on tonight. I've really been enjoying it today, honestly, so I don't know. I might get sucked into just doing another stream tonight after I've eaten, but as far as I know, next time will be tomorrow. And I'm going to sign out, and thank you very much for joining.